So before we get started, check out the following links in the description box below as highlighted in the image shown. So you'll be able to get our past papers, our link to our official website, link to accreditations, our link to donation page, and contact details in the description. So once you'll be watching a certain video of any lesson or of any past paper, you'll be able to get all these links, and you can be able to get to download past papers, to reach to our official website. You'll be able to see links to our accreditations so that you can see which authorities have accredited us. You'll be able to reach to our donation page as well as our contact details.
Let's look at question 2. The question reads, Janso Limited operates a factory which has 4 operators working in department RBM 400. The company uses time rate systems of labor remuneration to compensate its workers. The data about the 4 employees for the month of November 2023 is as follows. Angel Chepet, we have been given the salary, advancement, and loan. Bob Munene, Chris Lemayan, and Diana Nina, we also have their details. Then addition information, we are told that affordable housing levy is 1.5%, is charged on the gross income per month. NSSF is deducted at the rate of 5% of the gross income. NHIF also 3% of the basic. 3% of the basic. And the payee is charged at the rate of that 30% of the gross income. And housing levy is 15% of the basic. The gross income is the total of the basic pay plus the house allowance before any deductions. Required, prepare payroll for them to show the take-home net pay for the month of November 2023 for 4 operators. Let's try to generate the payroll for these 4 operators. The first column, I'm going to record the operator's name. Number 2, I will put their PIN, KRA PIN. Number 3, I'll have to put the basic pay. Then number next, I put the allowance. That will be our housing allowance. Then we have the gross pay. The gross pay. Then at this point, I put all the deductions. Under deductions, we are going to have affordable housing. Let me put it AHL. We have NSSF. We also have NHIF. We have payee. Then the total deductions. Total deductions, I will insert them there. The other thing that we are going to create is does the person get advance? Yes. We have advance and loan. Repayment. And then the balance we get here, you can say that the net pay, net, what a person is earning or taking home. We say number one, we are putting the names of these particular operators. This is the PIN. Then we have the basic pay, then allowance. Then this we are putting the cross pay. All right. Now, number one is Angel Japet. The KRA pin, it is A0 8522 22F. We are told that her basic salary is 50,000. House allowance is provided 15% of the basic. Now we can determine the house allowance, 0.15 multiplied by 50,000. Getting allowance of 7,500. Then the cross pay, we take that plus 50,000. That is 57,500. Okay. Then we are told that affordable housing levy is taxed 15%, charged on the gross income. Now we can take 1.5. We divide by 100, multiply by 57,500. Paying for housing, it is 862.5. NSSF, how is it deducted? Is 5% on the gross. 5 divided by 100, multiplied by 57,500. NSSF, the person is paying 28.50, 28.75. NHIF, it is 3% of the basic. Is 0. Or that's 3 over 100. We are multiplying by 50,000, not 57. 50,000, we get 1,500. And then pay 30% of the gross, 57,500. You get 17,250. The total deductions, we can take this plus 1,500, 2875 plus 862.5. The total deduction is amounting to 22,487.5. 487.5. But you also told that Angel took an advance of 6,000. Is 6,000. And then she also took, she paid loan of 10,000. And in that case, we are taking 22 plus 16,000. Everything from 57,500 minus this one. The money she was to take home, it is 19,012.5. 19,012. 0.5. Then we proceed to number 2. Number 2, we had Bob Mnene. That's Bob Mnene. Then KRA pin, it is A 086 538 K. Salary was taking 45,000. House allowance was being given 6,750, and the cross that we come to 51,750. Then we start housing allowance. This one we multiply by 1.5. The answer we divide by 100. Get 76.25. Then NSSF is 5%. You get is paying NSSF at 25, 87.5. Then NHIF is 3%. Is paying NHIF. No, it is 0.03 multiplied by this on the basic pay, which was 45. Is paying 13.50. Then pay 0.3. We are multiplying by 51,750. That's calculated on the cross. Is 15,525. Then the total we can find this plus 1350 plus 25, 87.5 plus 776.25. That is 28. Sorry. $15.25. When you add, just a minute, 1350 plus 25, 87.5. You get 20,238.75. Then I took advance of 5,000 and paid loan of 12,000. The total deductions amounts to that 7 to that 8. Then we minus the cross, which was 51,750. The money he took home was 14,511.25. 511.25. Number next is Chris Lemayan. Head care is A1 065 87J. Okay, here the basic was 30,000. House allowance, you still calculate 15% of that. Was given something to do with the 4,500 house allowance. And then we can find the gross, which comes to 34,500. Right, now we can find deductions. Housing levy is paying 517.5. 517.5. NSSF the guy is paying 17,250. Sorry, 1,725. NHIF we are calculating on the basic as 3 multiplied by 34,500. We divide by 100. Is paying at 1035. No, really, it is 0.03 multiplied by 30,000. This one is 9,900. That's NSSF. And then pay 30%. Get 10,350. Then the total we have to add 900 plus 1725, 517.5. The total deductions amount to 13,492.5. Did he have a loan? No. Advance? No. Loan repayment? No. Now whatever he took at the end of the day, it was 13,492.5. That's the money Chris took home. Then lastly, we have Diana. Diana Nina, KRA pin is A258850H. Alright, the basic pay was 48. He had an advance of 9,000. He also took a loan repayment of 15,000. Right, we can determine the allowance. That was 7,200 plus 48. Gross is 55,200. Then we calculate the house allowance. Is we multiply by 1.5 divided by 100. Is paying house allowance at 828. $200. Is paying NSSF at 2760. NHIF is 3%. NHIF is paying at 1440. Then pay 0.3. You multiply by 55,200. It's paying 16,500. 560. The total deductions, we can add 440 plus 2760 plus 828. Have 21,588. Right, then we can add this one to the allowance. It took us 9,000 plus 15,000, get 24. Have 55,200 minus all the deductions. Not really, that's 21,588 plus 9,000 plus 15,000, get 45,588 from 52,200. The money this person took home is 9,612. 9,612. That's how the payroll for the month of November should look like. So provided to indicate the deductions and how you compute the deductions and the allowances, advance payment, loan repayment, and allowance, you get it correctly. But B, question is Dotoma Limited has submitted the following data relating to component T that is currently manufacturing. The total cost of making 10,000 units of our component. We have requires direct material, direct labor, indirect labor, depreciations, and maintenance totaling to 330,000. Then additional information, the management accountant of Dodoma Limited analyzed each item of the expenses according to the cost behavior pattern into variable and fixed cost. The analysis as follows. We have material, we have a 10 shillings per, should be 10 shillings per unit. Then direct labor is 8, that's the unit variable cost. And then we have indirect labor 40,000, depreciation 60,000, repair and maintenance is 25, and then 2.5, that is the variable cost per unit. The total cost is 125, the fixed cost, and variable is 20.5. Now we have variable. To get a variable cost per unit, variable cost, total variable cost. We are going to get the variable cost per unit, which is 20.5. We multiply by the units. They were 10,000 units. Whatever we get, we add to the fixed cost, which is 125. Let's just try to see whether we are getting 330. 20.5. You multiply by 1,000. In this case, you are getting 205 plus 125 plus 125. You get 330. Now, if the company they are going to manufacture this particular product, then 1,000 units, they are going to incur the cost of 330,000. Dotoma has determined that 30,000 of fixed indirect labor cost is unavoidable, even if component T is outsourced. Even if we are going to outsource this particular material from elsewhere, we have to incur the 30,000. That's the fixed cost. RVD Limited has offered to supply 10,000 units of component to Dodoma Limited for 16 shillings per unit. All variable costs are available cost if component T is bought from what? RVD. Let's assume that we are buying this product from RVD. Okay, the question raised that advised Dodoma Limited whether to make or buy component. Assuming we are buying from this particular people, we have 16, that's the variable cost per unit. We multiply by 10,000. we are going to get 16,000, and we are told that regardless of whether we are buying from outside or outsourcing or not, we have to incur the fixed indirect. We have add fixed indirect cost, which is what? 30,000. This one becomes to 190. Then have just 190. 190 plus the fixed cost, the total fixed cost, where you are to remain constant. Fixed cost, which is which will hit 125,000. If you do that, plus, that's 190 plus 190 plus 125, we are getting 3115. Now, if we are going to outsource this particular component from RVD, we are to incur the cost of 315,000, but in the event we manufacture them, we are spending 330. Now, our advice will be, let the management outsource from RVD, which is a bit cheaper, and even to they do that, they are going to save. That's 15,000 shillings. Then we are told, Roman, next that summarize 4 overriding considerations, what they are meant to consider to meet before accepting or buy decisions. The factor that they have to put into consideration before they accept to buy from RVD, they have to look at the production cost. Let me just list them. So, look at the production cost. In that case, you compare the production cost, which one is cheaper, is it outsourcing or producing within. Also, you look at the purchasing cost. Economies of scale, also have to look at that. As part of the consideration. Capacity or capability of this particular company. Capacity, stroke, and capability of, now in this case, RVD. Are they capable of supplying this particular product continuously or not? Also, another thing you have to put into consideration, the quality standards. Quality standards of material produced by RVT, of component from RVD. Another things you can look at the lead time and flexibility. Lead time and flexibility. And finally, look at the risk management. Risk management. As mitigating potential pitfalls. Mitigating potential pitfall. Before you decide that we are not going to produce within, rather we are going to outsource from outsider. Those are some of things one has to consider before deciding whether to buy from outside. If we produce from within, do you have the capability? And if we acquire from outside, does the supplier have the capability? Look at the lead time, the time we are going to incur when we place an order and when the goods are going to be made available for use within the company. That is it the end of question number 2.
So if you like this video, you can always enroll with us. You'll be able to access more of these revision sessions, and also you'll be able to find well done lectures or pre-recorded videos for all the KASNEB courses as well as CHRP. And in case of anything, you can always reach us out. We have our contact details on the screen. Feel free to call, feel free to WhatsApp anytime. So thank you, and let's meet in our next session.